right, here we go. Outlawz, what's good?
What's going on, my brother Vlad?
Now, you know, E.D., you and I have done a number of interviews, but Noble, this is actually the first time we're sitting down face to face.
It's all good.
New Jack, he the new Jack.
You know?
So you were actually the last Outlaw member,
Right.
right?
Right.
So what led up to you actually joining the Outlawz?
What led up to me joining the Outlawz? Well, I moved to Cali from Jersey, you know, like a couple months before Pac got out of jail. And I, you know, getting in all this trouble in Jersey and shit, hustling, all this crazy shit. I was just like, getting the fuck out of here. So I moved out to the 909 with my sister. Came home from, you know, I was trying to live the life of a regular kid, you know what I'm saying? So going to school, all this shit, and got a call one day. I came home from school, my sister was like, Fatal called you. They said they out here. I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck my boys doing out here?
You knew Fatal from Jersey?
From Jersey. I grew up with Kadafi and Fatal since like, you know, third grade and shit, you know what I mean? So as soon as they touched down in Cali with Pac, you know, they like, we gonna call one of our soldiers from the hood, you know what I mean? So, you know, I thought it was a joke. They like, yo, we out here with Pac. I'm like, Pac locked up all this shit, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a joke. Them niggas came and got me in the limo, and it was on after that, you know what I'm saying?
So in Jersey, like, how bad was it getting for you? Like how deeply involved were you in all the criminal shit?
It was getting real bad, man. You know, I saw it one day. Like if you know, my moms was on drugs, my brother was on drugs, so they gave me an example of what I wasn't trying to be. Like I never was gonna try to dive into actually using drugs, even though a lot of the homies was tooting and, you know, sprinkling the shit with the weed and all that. It was like, you know, always had a hustler spirit, you know what I mean? But I just got a vision one day, man. God was like, yo, if you keep at this shit, you're gonna be dead or locked up. It's no other options, you know what I'm saying?
So you were dealing drugs back then?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting locked up and all this shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, all the same hood story everybody got, you know what I mean?
Shootouts?
Nah, not really shootouts. Really. Getting shot at a lot.
You got shot at?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of stickers, because the town we stayed in, it's called Montclair. It was like, you know, in Jersey, it was like, you know, we used to be kind of beefing with East Orange a little bit. So, you know, a lot of dudes used to try to come up to Montclair, because the town looked pretty, but there's some thorough niggas there. You know what I mean? So, you know, they used to try to come up and, you know, rob niggas and, you know what I mean? All that kind of shit. So, you know, but yeah, it used to be some shootings and shit going out there, but I was a little nigga. I wasn't really out there shooting nobody, you know what I mean?
Like, how old were you when you first got shot at?
I would say about 15.
Wow.
Yeah, about 15.
That's crazy. You never got hit?
Nah, I never got hit.
Luckily.
I mean? Thank God, you know.
So you move out to L.A.
Right.
Your friends hit you up and say, we rolling with Tupac now.
Right.
They come pick you up in the limo.
Right.
Pac wasn't in the limo.
No.
Okay.
Kadafi and Fatal.
Kadafi and Fatal.
Right. They were the first two actually that got here when Pac got out. You know, E.D. and them came like a couple days later. You know what I mean? But yeah, they came and got me. When we went to go meet Pac at his Wilshire house. You know what I'm saying? And you know, first thing Pac did, he walked through the door. He was like, yo, you know, he looked at Kadafi. Kadafi like, this my man Noble from the hood. You know, Pac like, yo, you know, he fresh out, paranoid than a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to you, Noble. But, you know, he started talking to Kadafi like, yo, how you just gonna bring, you know, somebody I don't know to the spot?
So they didn't even tell Tupac?
No, they didn't even tell him that they was taking a limo. Like, he started barking on them like, y'all just took the limo, what the fuck? You gotta think this back then, niggas ain't had no cell phones. Niggas might have had beepers and shit, you know what I mean? So I guess Pac was doing an interview or something, and these dudes just got in a limo and came to get me an hour away out in the 909, you know what I mean? So Pac started barking on limo. You know how niggas was, it was retarded, you know what I mean? So Pac, he started barking on them about the limo and bringing a stranger to his apartment. And I was like, you know, I interrupted like, yo, Pac, I totally understand where you coming from. I wasn't tripping, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I go back, it's all good, but you know, Kadafi was like, yo, this is my dog. Like, he ain't no stranger. Like, this is, you know what I mean? He went to bat, like, immediately. Like, this is a nigga we grew up with. This is our brother, like, period, point blank. And, you know, it was open arms after that.
Because, I mean, Fatal and Kadafi could have gotten kicked out of the group for basically bringing you in?
Nah, I wouldn't say
It
that.
wasn't no kicking Kadafi.
Nah, it wasn't. Yeah.
No?
It
It wasn't
it wasn't that serious. Like
okay.
kick him out. Niggas was, Kadafi is Pac's half brother. Like Kadafi was the one who used to go against Pac more than anybody. He was that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like on his little brother, let me go against my big brother shit. You know what I'm saying? But instantly Kadafi was like, nah, like this nigga is one of us. Period, point blank. And after that, Pac was like, it's all good. We could have passed me a blunt and, it was love. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
So I start going out there, I'm still going to school at the time. So I start going out there on the weekends and shit. And mind you, like, I would miss so much shit, in 5 days, these niggas been did like 20 songs, been shot videos, and, I'm at school and shit. So, I'm going out there on the weekends and shit, and, Pac just embraced me. He was like a little brother. One day he was just like, yo, you gotta come on. Basically made me drop out of school. And this was before he even heard me rap. Mind you, I had all these raps and shit. God just had me on for some reason I was writing raps when I came out here. I had a whole book of raps, like my Hail Mary rap. I had that before I was in the group, you know what I mean? So it was like one day I'm rapping for E.D.I and shit, like, yo, let me, I was there on some soldier shit. I never thought like, oh, I'm actually being a group. Pac was like, yo, we fuck with you, you our brother, let's get some money together. My first job was gonna be the Outlaw clothing, you know what I'm saying? Like the shirts we had on at the House of Blues, like that was my first design, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, then I start thinking, damn, I could rap too. So E.D.I was the first one I started kicking my raps to and shit, like, yo, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like, yo, you there, bro. You know what I'm saying? I kicked the shit for Pac one day, and he got mad at me. Like, you living in my house, bro. You been around for 3 months, and you ain't kick no raps. I'm like, I wasn't here for that. You know what I mean? So I think his level of respect went up for me even crazier. You know what I mean? So that day, I remember we was at his Malibu house. You know what I mean? And he initiated me as an outlaw. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you the last one. You the 7th member. You know what I mean? You make the cipher complete. He was like, you got to be better than everybody. I was the youngest. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, you didn't have a name like everyone else.
Alias, nah.
Yeah, everyone had like a leader name, right. Like a leader that was an anti-U.S. leader name,
right,
Idi Amin, Kadafi, Napoleon.
No doubt.
Napoleon wasn't anti-U.S., but I'm saying, had a name of a great leader. How come you didn't have one of those names?
Well, I came to the table with Noble, and, that was the perfect name. He was trying to give me Noble Drew Ali. He wanted me to run with that, but it never really stuck with me.
Okay.
But he used to call me, the other alias he used to call me was Marbles. Like, we had just like Daddy, he'd be like, Marbles, da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Because when I first started rapping, I used to, fuck up in the booth. He'd be like, come on, Marbles, Marble Mouth, spit the shit out. You know what I mean? So he tried to make me run with Marbles. I wasn't trying to run with that either. Like, come on, you try to call me Marble Mouth and shit. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, man. You know what I mean? Okay. But Noble was cool, man. Noble was, that name that's me. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you guys are both rolling with Pac at this point.
Right.
All Eyes on Me was out already, and it was a monster.
Right.
So Pac is getting ready to do the Makaveli album.
Right.
Number one, what was Pac's reason for not naming this album a Tupac album? Like it was a completely different name.
Well, you want to tell him?
No, go ahead. I live.
Makaveli was his solo album from the Outlawz. He made it a point, at least to us, to be like, yo, I'm a part of the Outlawz.
He was in the group.
It's not like Tupac featuring the Outlawz. It's the Outlawz. You know what I'm saying? We the Outlawz. I'm going to put my solo album out first, though, just to make the shit bigger.
Right.
You know what I mean? He saw what a lot of niggas ended up doing, like Nelly and, you know what I'm saying, Mace. They were all part of groups, but they was like, yo, I'm gonna step out solo. Even though he was already an established solo artist, superstar, multi-platinum, he was like, yo, I'm gonna be the one to put this out. And it was really supposed to be like a mixtape. You know what I mean? It wasn't like supposed to be an album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But Suge, being a businessman, heard the music and was like, oh, hell nah.
We did all that shit in 3 days.
We putting this out,
you know what I mean?
In the stores.
Like I remember I was talking to QD3, who I guess had done some of the production on the Makaveli album. And he said that when Pac told him that he gonna give away this thing for free, that like Q almost cried because he was like, "Are you serious
Shit,
right
serious.
now? Like this is my
You gotta
TV
think, this
major."
is 3 days of work, man. You know what I mean? The whole CD plus extra songs was recorded in 3 days. It was
3 days.
3 days, man. So it was like, you know, we're gonna set the streets on fire with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick.
Yeah.
And he really was a visionary because he saw what mixtapes was gonna become. He
Right.
kind of was, you know, kind of doing the template in a loose kind of way to what 50 and a lot of other dudes that established their careers off of mixtapes ended up doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And he really was on some like, yo, I want to give my shit to the streets, directly to the streets. You know what I mean? I don't even want to be like a hip hop artist because like he had plans. You know what I mean? He had plans to take himself out of hip hop completely, and the only time you was gonna hear him was on our projects as the Outlawz.
Right, because he was focusing on acting at this point.
Acting and some other things as
And
well.
this label, you know?
Right.
Like between the Outlawz, it was a lot of, you know, different money streams. Like, you know, you had me as a solo artist, you know what I mean? It was gonna be Traumacidal, E.D.I, Castro, and Napoleon, and it was gonna be Fatal and Felony. You know what I'm saying? Like before he passed, he was actually working on my solo deal. You know what I'm saying? With
Wow.
Kadafi had worked it out with him with Quest Records. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Like, you
Yeah,
know, they had the first draft for the contract and everything, man. I was like, you know, that kid really was going hard for us, you know what I mean?
So 3 days in the studio, you guys create the whole Makaveli album,
The whole thing, plus extras.
plus some other shit.
Right,
So Noble, you actually show up on 4 songs.
right,
You were on Hail Mary,
right,
Bomb First, Life of an Outlaw,
right.
Just Like Daddy.
And that was on purpose.
You were on, I'm sorry?
I said that was on purpose.
That was on purpose?
Yeah, that he was featured on that many songs.
Okay.
Because like he just said, he was setting them up for a solo career. You know what I
Right.
mean? He was like, yo, you gonna be the G-Rap, the Nas, the best lyrical dude in the group. And that's what he had him on, you know what I mean, from day one. You be the one that write the most, you be the one that got the most, you know what I mean? That was Noble's lane right there.
Word.
And how many songs were you on?
I'm on 3.
Which ones?
Just Like Daddy, Bomb
Life-
First, and
Life
Life
of
of
an
an
Outlaw.
Outlaw.
Okay, so you guys are on 3 of the same songs.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, but you were on Hail Mary,
right,
which was like the big song.
right. And I didn't even like that song at first, to be honest with you.
Really?
You know what I mean? The beat, it just felt like a church beat. You know, we East Coast dudes, we used to the head knocking hard shit. It was like, when that came on, it felt like, you know, some church stuff. You know what I mean? I was just a young dude. I didn't see it at the time. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, yo, hop on this. Went to my little book, you know, raps I've been wrote. And I, you know, spit my verse on there. But at first, you know, even after we recorded it, I didn't like it. I didn't like it until after it got mixed. You know what I mean? When I heard the mixed version, I was like, oh, this kind of hard right here. You know what I mean?
Really, when you think of that album, you think of Hail Mary.
Right.
Like,
For the most
I mean, it was a
part.
great album overall, but that was the song. And that was the single too, right? That was like the first single?
No,
The
the
video-
first
Nah, it
single
wasn't
was
the first- yeah, To Live and
the first
Die in
sing-
LA.
To Live and Die in LA.
Oh,
then
Toss It Up, actually.
Toss It Up,
Toss
yeah.
It Up.
Them was the first 2
Then
singles.
Live and Die in LA.
Yeah.
And then Hail Mary was the single that got released after he was already gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
'cause he
shot a
wasn't-
video without us in it and all this shit, you know what I mean? All these actors, all this dumb shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And then had us come film.
Right. Later.